How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal in this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading whether the price is going up or down. Investors have stopped shorting Bitcoin for the first time in 3 months, says CoinShares. Institutional investors have stopped betting against Bitcoin according to CoinShares' latest fund report for the last 3 months. Though today's report indicates that the institutional investors may be dropping their short positions for the time being, they have nonetheless been busy selling. Across the various Bitcoin-related funds, investors have sold more than $111 million this past week. Butterfield writes that this is the largest weekly outflow since U.S. regulators began their heightened regulatory scrutiny on the industry. Institutions are hitting pause as the industry navigates several lawsuits against Coinbase and Binance, along with the unfair labeling of several tokens as unregistered securities. 1.8M bounty now open to public for Curve Finance hacker. So the Curve Finance hacker did not follow through with his promises to return the funds, so now the team has officially made this a public bounty. Anyone who helps identify the exploiter and lead to their conviction in court amounts to 10% of the stolen funds yet to be returned, valued currently at over $18.5 million. So if you want your chance, learn how to look through on-chain stuff, help them out, and you could get a really good reward for it. Huobi crypto exchange grapples with rumors of insolvency amidst hefty outflows. So they saw about $64 million this past weekend in outflows for Huobi. Adam Cartran recently raised eyebrows with a series of statements regarding the apparent financial instability of Huobi. I just how they're selling off, likely due to Huobi's insolvency, Cartran mused, later adding that there had been weird balance shifts at Huobi over the last few months. I don't think Binance is selling their tether for 2 reasons, he theorized. They want to topple USDT to push stablecoins they control to gain from, or they realize Sun doesn't have the USDT he claims to, and if users find out, they might mass dump to escape his exchange. Across USDT and USDC combined, Huobi only holds 90 million of assets, he alleged. Huobi's own Merkle Tree audit still lists Huobi users having 630 million of USDT held, and a wallet balance of 631 million USDT. Users think they have balances of 631 million in Huobi, but there's only 90 million there, so very insolvent FTX vibes. So onto the charts. We did wick out of our down channel, so we almost invalidated the bullish possibility. Keep an eye on that. If this keeps going, we could invalidate this pattern and see a drop off on our altcoins. RSI is starting to inch out, Stochastic's trying to inch up, our VWAP's trying to head up. Money flow's a little indecisive right now, and our momentum does want to come up. That VWAP's pretty indecisive too. It's just riding under that neutral. That VWAP needs to break through and push through strongly. Otherwise, if we just ride under and kind of peek through, we could get a little bit of a spike, but then we could ultimately fall lower. So watch out for that. That would be within this pattern, and that could be good because that could set us up for that break up. But just watch out for that. We do have this gap up we could fill as well. Over on Bitcoin futures, we are trying to make a pretty decent push off the top, even though we had this reversal arrow that wants to bring us down. So we are heading up. We do have this gap here, but not all gaps have to fill, but they have an 80% chance to fill. Stochastic is starting to inch its way out as price goes up, so we're sort of making a divergence there. RSI is trying to head up as price is going up, so that's staying consistent. Momentum's going up, our VWAP is heading down, going kind of flat. So if this VWAP doesn't gain some strength, we could see a bit of a push down. Our money flow is overall getting slightly even highs here, so we're meeting about 26. If we can push through this area and head up, we could see a push higher. However, right now we're not looking too strong. We are kind of just tapering off as we're hitting it, which could suggest we could push lower, kind of like back here. We could just see some sort of a bit of a sell-off. Usually when you come to these resistance areas, you get these dips. So just keep an eye on that. Over on Bitcoin futures, we are right around the top of our pattern, so we tried to invalidate it, but we are coming back into it. RSI is going flat, Stochastic's rounding off, VWAP's trying to come up, momentum's trying to come up with a green dot, Our money flow is trying to break through that neutral, so money flow is trying to flip bullish. We'll have to see if it can actually flip bullish and hold and heads up. Otherwise, if we reject away right here, we could just get a bearish rejection and get slammed back down. Kind of like last time, like back here. Little rejections, those do tend to drop you down. We did have gaps here. We have some bit of a rejection. We were struggling here. We did end up selling off from that. So just keep in mind that if we do hold under the zone, we could see a push down. So that is kind of counter to everyone's shorting. Just keep that in mind. A lot of people are not shorting. There's almost no institutional investor shorting. So that does have a big effect on if we will drop. If they start to short, then we could see a big push down out of nowhere. Over on Bitcoin, we are trying to push up a little bit. Real quick, if you haven't liked this video already, subscribe to the channel, visit our links down below, get in our Discord, and you'll be able to see some cool 3D print stuff that we are going to be doing for our channel. Momentum is trying to come up. We are making higher lows on our momentum. Price is kind of heading down, so we have a little bit of a bullish divergence forming here. RSI is trying to head up. Stochastic wants to make a bullish cross and head up. Our money flow is maintaining bullish momentum. Our VWAP's nowhere to be found though, so watch for that VWAP. If it starts to roll over, we could get dropped back down. Over on the 4 hour, we did invalidate a manipulation X that wanted to bring us down and start a breakdown for the pattern. We got about a third of the breakdown and then we bounced back up. RSI is trying to head up. Our stochastic's trying to head up. RSI is going kind of flat here though, so just watch out. VWAP is trying to ramp up pretty strongly, so that's bringing our momentum up very strong. But our money flow overall is leaching its way out, so we have a little indecision here as the money is leaving, but we are trying to pump. Over on the 2 hour, we do have that reversal arrow with a green dot. So this green dot with a reversal arrow tip like this typically shows that we could get a big move up. Last time, let's see. Last time that didn't go anywhere. This one we did end up getting a little bit of a jump. See if I can find this one dropped down. Kind of hard to find one where they're close together. This one they kind of peaked up. We did ultimately go up, then we dropped back down, then we ran back up. So there is that possibility. So we are getting a little bit of a red candle though. If this red candle does come in and make a bearish engulfing candle, we could see a bit of a sell-off, and that could bring us some bearish pressure in, so keep that in mind as well. We are getting a reversal arrow here, so that is signaling that we could get a new trend. Our trend was going up. Stochastic is starting to bend. Our RSI is starting to bend, so price is making higher highs slightly, but stochastic's making lower highs. So there's a slight bearish divergence there. VWAP is starting to head down, money flow is starting to reject, and our momentum is starting to curl away. Over on the 1 hour, we are starting to get a rounding top. We had that green dot, it didn't really go anywhere, and we're starting to get a sell-off from it. Stochastic is making a bearish cross, RSI is falling, momentum is starting to fall, VWAP is falling, getting toward that neutral, so the VWAP could flip into bearish territory and drag the momentum with it. Our money flow did try to go through that neutral, but it is starting to get a rejection, so keep an eye on that as well. If the next few candles are red, we're likely going to get pushed down and retest the support where we could get sucked back into our golden pocket. Over on graph for the daily, zoom out for this volume profile if you care to see that. We are getting a little bit of a green candle that wants to push us up. We did kind of wick around this higher volume area right around here and make a bounce off it, so that is a decent sign for a possible move back toward that point of control if everything else can keep going with some bullish momentum here. RSI is trying to head up, stochastic's trying to make a bullish cross and head up. Our money flow is overall heading up, VWAP is crossing that neutral, so our VWAP wants to gain some bullish momentum. We'll have to see if it can push through. It's looking a little weak now, so I think it could start to roll over if we don't get some better look on the lower time frames, like strong money flow in the green or strong VWAP. We are getting a double green dot on our momentum that wants to bring us up, so that is trying to help us push up off of here. Over on the 4 hour, that point control kind of jumped away from us, but overall we are still sliding down, so still within somewhat of a down channel. At this point it could start to break up. Our stochastics overall pushing down. We're about to make a bearish cross. RSI wants to head up, VWAP wants to head up. That VWAP's trying to break through that neutral. If the VWAP gets rejected here, the daily could start to weaken. Momentum's trying to get a green dot here, but that's going to be dependent on if that VWAP can stay within the bullish territory or if it flops over here. Over on the 2 hour, we have a lot of manipulation X's that want to bring us down, a lot of reversal arrows trying to prop us up, so a lot of indecision. We are overall losing strength on our stochastic while price is dropping, so no divergence. RSI is starting to push up, wants to overall drop as our stochastic is pretty weak, but we are trying to rebound here. VWAP is heading up but starting to taper off. Our momentum is coming up but starting to curl with that VWAP. Our money flow is getting near that neutral, but it's starting to taper off and looks like it could start to curl. If we start to curl here and drop down, then we could see a sell-off from here. Over on the 1 hour, nothing too exciting to see. We had that double top here that brought us down. We are trying to come back, retest kind of the support zone of it. If we get rejected here, that's where we could see further downside. Stochastic's starting to round off, our RSI is starting to head down, our VWAP is starting to head down, our money flow is flipping into the bearish territory, so we are setting up some bearish momentum here. Our momentum wave is in danger of rolling over as our VWAP is heading back down. So keep an eye on the next few candles as we could set some bearish pressure. We do have a little bit of a gap up that we started, so we could likely fill that. Over on Anchor for the daily, we are trying to push back up, kind of retest the zone that we broke from. Our RSI is trying to head up, our money flow is trying to head up, our stochastics just staying in this range. VWAP is pretty flat, starting to kind of taper away, so keep an eye on that. If it starts to drop, we could set some bearish momentum. Our momentum does want to come up, but that VWAP struggling to cross bullish. Over on the 4 hour, we are coming back up to this range. We have a gap down here, so we could come back down, fill that gap, and that could set more bearish pressure. We did fill that other gap that we had right here. So you can see we keep making and filling these gaps. Stochastic is falling, RSI is trying to run up though, VWAP's in the bullish territory trying to push our momentum up, but the money flow is starting to leave us. So people are starting to sell off, but we are trying to pump. We could get a bit of a correction move down if this money flow doesn't reverse. Over on the 2 hour, this could be somewhat of a double bottom that could try to push us higher and push us back into this pattern, and we could try and invalidate the breakdown. Stochastic is trying to head up, RSI is trying to head up, VWAP's trying to run up, money flow's trying to run up, and our momentum wave is trying to come up. So we are getting some strong bullish signals here that could push us further if they continue. Over on the 1 hour, we are getting a reversal arrow here, so we do have a run up. That reverse of that would be a drop down, so be wary of that. Our stochastic's starting to run off. Our RSI is overall trying to make higher highs, but struggling to get beyond this 59. Money flow is somewhat starting to taper out. Our VWAP is starting to curl off, so that could bring our momentum down. So definitely keep an eye on the next few candles, see if we can break through this support resistance area and push higher. Otherwise, if we start to roll away from here, we could begin some sell-off. Over on XRP for the daily, we're pretty indecisive, getting close to that range I've been telling you we could come back toward. Here's our volume profile. You can see we're well above that still. So that's not really in play. We could come back to our value area high if we break these supports. That would be the next support. RSI is starting to fall. Our money flow is in the bearish territory. VWAP is heading up. Our momentum is trying to curl. So if our VWAP can break through that neutral, then we could get green down our momentum and a push up. Over on the 4 hour, you can see we're kind of ranging in this zone down here. We are overall starting to slide though, so we do have a little bit of a down channel forming. That could be a bullish trend for us. Stochastic's starting to round off, RSI is trying to head up, our VWAP is pushing through that neutral into the bullish territory and giving our momentum a double green dot that wants to help prop us up. So if we do set some bullish momentum on the lower time frames, that could continue and push higher. Money flow is struggling to break any lower than this 18, so if we make a bounce here, we could see a bit of a bullish move upwards and try to break through this like 9 zone that we've struggled to break through. Over on the 2 hour, our stochastic's just running up crazy, RSI is running up, starting to taper, so watch out for that. Our VWAP is running up, starting to taper as well. But our money flow is getting close to that neutral, so if that money flow can break through that neutral, we could get a bullish push up and some bullish momentum to confirm. Our momentum wave is coming up, kind of sloppily, but we do have a bullish divergence that wants to carry us higher. Over on the 1 hour, don't really have any gaps here, but you can see we got a big drop down, so odds are we'll get a big run up to fill that gap. We might not fill all of it, but we could try and retest some of it at least. Stochastic is starting to run off, RSI is starting to run off, our VWAP is starting to run off, our money flow is starting to reject away from the neutral, so our momentum could drop because our VWAP is overall running away. So with the money flow and the VWAP starting to drop, we could get a bearish swing down, and we could retest those areas, at which point if we hit those areas and meet some support, we could see some sort of play out to the upside and then maybe carry some more higher price action, as there is still a lot of people selling just because it's not $1. Don't know if you know, but if you create a bunch of sell pressure and you're selling off all your coins, you're not helping to get any higher. Stochastic is running up, RSI is heading up, VWAP is heading up, our money flow is trying to go toward that neutral. This is on algo for the daily, and our momentum is coming up, so we do have some bullish momentum. We are coming up to that point of control. We tried to break through it, so the next candle, if we manage to break through it, we could go through to the value area high, would be our next stop, slash that Fibonacci zone. So this could be a decent bottom for us, a double bottom that could possibly bring us higher as well within this down channel. Over on the 4 hour, stochastic's running down, momentum's coming up with a green dot as our VWAP's breaking in the bullish territory and trying to bring us higher. Our money flow is inching its way out, so keep an eye on that, and our RSI is inching its way out. We did make a bounce off that support zone where I extended it, kind of like I mentioned, and we did bounce up, so we could continue bullish momentum here if our bullish momentum on our signals maintains. If our bullish strength starts to fade away, then we could come back down and get sucked back into the pattern. Over on the 2 hour, our RSI is heading up. We have a red dot, stochastic's running up, momentum's trying to come up, but we are getting lower highs on our momentum, so watch out for that as that's a divergence. VWAP is heading down, our money flow is zigzagging above that neutral, so money flow is maintaining bullish strength, but it's not very strong. It's struggling to get above the 7, so if it doesn't break through the 7 zone, we could come back down and retest the neutral. Over on the 1 hour, stochastic's getting pretty tight, RSI is getting a red dot and wants to drop, our momentum's starting to curl off, VWAP is starting to head down toward that neutral and looks like it could start to break. Our money flow is struggling to maintain any strength above this 14, and we are starting to round off, so overall it looks like we could get a little bit of a cool off, so keep that in mind. If we do break back into this pattern, we could see a rejection of our pattern and break lower, so watch out for that possibility as well, but that would be dependent on like our total and other coins dropping too. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.